The United Galactic Federation's Interstellar Defense Academy orbited Harmonio for like a gleaming sentinel, a testament to the bureaucratic efficiency and cultural unity of the galaxy's most peaceful species. From a distance, it resembled a silver lotus in full bloom, each petal housing a different training facility. No expense had been spared in creating the perfect institution to train the next generation of peacekeepers, those who would maintain the delicate balance between 97 civilized worlds. Cadet Maya Reyes stood at the observation deck, watching Harmonio 4's peaceful azure surface rotating below, all gentle oceans and carefully tended continents. Nothing like Earth. Nothing like home. Enjoying the view, human? The voice behind her held no malice, but the emphasis on the word human carried enough meaning. Reyes turned to face the administrative officer, a tall Valerian with iridescent scales and eyes that seemed to look through her rather than at her. Just getting my bearings, officer. I hope that's all you're getting. The Valerian's mandibles clicked in what might have been a smile. Your orientation starts in 15 minutes. Lieutenant Meccan doesn't appreciate tardiness. As the officer glided away, Reyes turned back to the window. The Academy accepted candidates from all Federation worlds, but Earth, or as it was classified in Federation records, Terra Incognita, had only been allowed to send students for the past 5 years. She was one of only 3 humans in the current class of 500. The truth was simple. 97% of sentient species in the Federation evolved on what humans would consider paradise planets. Minimal predators, stable climate, abundant resources, low gravity. The remaining 3% came from what Federation xenobiologists ominously termed Deathworlds, planets where every day was a fight for survival. Earth sat at the top of that list. Quite the reputation we have, Reyes murmured to herself, remembering the required vaccinations other species needed just to share air with her. The warning labels on her application forms. Asterisk caution, Deathworlder. Enhanced strength, endurance, and potentially dangerous survival responses. Asterisk. She checked her chronometer. Time to face the Academy. Lieutenant Meccan's briefing room was already filled with a dozen cadets when Reyes arrived, exactly 3 minutes early. The room fell silent as she entered. A Floraxian skin rippled from sunny yellow to cautious orange. 2 Peridian twins moved closer together, their telepathic link almost visibly strengthening. A centauri's tail twitched once, then went deliberately still. Ah, our Terran arrival, Lieutenant Meccan announced without looking up from his console. Now we can begin. Meccan was a Valerian like the administrative officer, but older, his scales dulled to a practical gray-green. His immaculate uniform bore the distinguished insignia of a veteran officer, and his left mandible was partly prosthetic, a rare sight in an age of advanced regenerative medicine. He must have preferred to keep the injury as a reminder of something. Echo Squad, Meccan continued, will consist of the cadets in this room. You represent 12 different worlds, each bringing unique abilities and perspectives. You will train together, eat together, and succeed or fail together. His compound eyes fixed on Reyes. Cadet Reyes is from Earth. For those unfamiliar with this classification, Earth is a Class 9 death world. The humans have a saying, "What is it, Cadet Reyes?" Reyes straightened. "Which one, sir? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." Or perhaps no pain, no gain? A few nervous laughs rippled through the group. Yes, Meccan's antennae twitched in what might have been amusement. Charming philosophies from a species that voluntarily consumes caustic chemicals for pleasure. Just try not to kill anyone during your training, Cadet. The paperwork is extensive. The room tensed, but Reyes had expected this. Federation species viewed humans as unpredictable, dangerous, even savage. A walking catastrophe waiting to happen. Every day would be a test, to prove she belonged here, to show that humans were more than their biology. Squad dismissed. First training exercise begins at 0600 tomorrow. Cadet Reyes remained behind. As the others filed out, Reyes caught fragments of whispers. Thought they'd be taller. Heard they can regrow limbs. Sleep for only 4 hours and still function. When the room emptied, Mekin fixed his compound eyes on her. Cadet Reyes, I've studied your species extensively. Earth gravity at 1 g, atmospheric pressure at 1 bar, temperature extremes from -50 degrees Celsius to +50 degrees Celsius in inhabited regions. Omnivorous diet, including substances toxic to 90% of sentient species. Endoskeletal structure capable of withstanding forces that would shatter most Federation species. With respect, sir, there's more to humans than our physical capabilities. Indeed, Mekin's good mandible clicked. There's your psychological makeup. A species that developed art and philosophy while constantly at war with itself. A species that climbs mountains because they are there, that swims in freezing waters for recreation, that seeks out danger for what you call thrill. You are a fascinating aberration, Cadet. Reyes maintained her posture. Will that be a problem, sir? That, Mekin said, depends entirely on you. You're not the first human I've trained, but the others washed out. Too aggressive, too impulsive, or ironically, too cautious about their own strength. Find a balance, Cadet Reyes. I will, sir. Dismissed. As Reyes left the briefing room, she felt the weight of Earth on her shoulders, not its gravity, but its reputation. In the Federation's eyes, she was the product of a nightmare planet, an evolutionary pressure cooker that had produced predators that preyed on predators. But she would show them there was more to being a Deathworlder than survival instinct. There had to be, or why would the stars matter at all? The following morning, Reyes arrived at the training bay 10 minutes early to find half of Echo's squad already there, warming up or checking equipment. A slender Floresian approached, skin shifting in gentle waves of curious blue. Hello, I'm Trill. The Floraxian's voice had a melodic quality, like wind through chimes. It's pronounced with a trill at the end, which is also conveniently my name. She demonstrated with a rippling sound. Reyes smiled. Maya Reyes. You can call me Reyes. Is it true that humans deliberately ingest capsaicin compounds? The chemical that triggers pain receptors. You mean spicy food? Yes, many of us enjoy it. Trill's skin flashed pink with fascination. But why would you willingly cause yourself pain? It's not exactly pain, more like controlled intensity. It releases endorphins, makes you feel alive. Reyes shrugged. Some humans climb mountains, some eat ghost peppers. Fascinating. On Florax, we avoid all forms of discomfort. Our philosophers teach that tranquility is the highest state of being. Different evolutionary paths, I guess. Indeed, Trill's skin shifted to a contemplative purple. On my world, we evolved alongside bioluminescent flora that warned of toxicity through color. We've maintained color-shifting skin as emotional communication. I understand humans communicate partially through micro-expressions. Among other things, Reyes admitted, when not always direct. A heavy thudding interrupted them as a bulky figure in an environmental suit approached. You should maintain distance from the Terran, came a slightly metallic voice, filtered through a respirator. Their skin harbors bacteria lethal to methane breathers. Trill's skin flashed an indignant orange. Zen, that's an exaggeration. The Academy medical screening ensures compatibility. The suited figure, evidently Zen, a Koran, adjusted something on their wrist panel. Minimized risk is not eliminated risk. Terran biology is notoriously unpredictable. Reyes recognized the environmental suit design. Korans evolved in a methane-rich atmosphere, their biochemistry incompatible with oxygen-nitrogen environments. Your concern is noted, Cadet Zen, but I've been cleared for all standard training environments. Standard environments weren't designed with Deathworlders in mind, Zen replied, but moved away to check equipment. Two nearly identical cadets approached next. Tall, willowy beings with silvery skin and four-fingered hands. The Peridian twins. I'm Kai, said one. I'm Lam, said the other. We apologize for our discomfort, they said in perfect unison. Reyes nodded. Telepaths, right? I understand my mind must seem unusual. Silent, Kai said. Like a void, Lam added. Disconcerting, they finished together. Human brains evolved strong barriers, Reyes explained. Our psychologists think it's because we're so social. We drive each other crazy otherwise. We cannot read intentions, Kai began. Only surface thoughts, Lam continued. You're a blank space. Before Reyes could respond, a muscular centauri approached, moving with predatory grace. Unlike the others who maintained a polite distance, he came uncomfortably close, nostrils flaring. Vix, he said simply. Former hunter caste, current merchant guild. His upper lip curled slightly. You smell like adrenaline and iron. Nice to meet you too, Reyes replied evenly. The last cadet approached with a sound like wind chimes. A chronite named Drav, whose silicon-based body gleamed with embedded crystalline structures. Unlike the others, Drav showed no hesitation. Fascinating to meet a Terran, Drav said, voice resonating like struck crystal. Your carbon-based fragility is matched only by your adaptability. Thanks. I think. Lieutenant Meccan entered, and all conversation ceased. Today's exercise, environmental. Adaptation. Each of you will face conditions outside your evolutionary comfort zone. The goal is not merely to survive, but to complete mission objectives. His compound eyes fixed on Reyes. Cadet Reyes, you're first. Underwater navigation course. Reyes nodded. Humans weren't aquatic, but she'd been a competitive swimmer since childhood. This shouldn't be too difficult. She was wrong. The underwater course turned out to be in high-pressure, low-visibility conditions with unpredictable currents. While not lethal to a human, it was exhausting and disorienting. By the time Reyes completed the obstacle course, retrieving the 5 target markers, her lungs burned and her muscles screamed. When she emerged, gasping, from the tank, she found the other cadets staring. That was impressive, Trill said, skin rippling with surprise blues. It was adequate, Meccan corrected. Cadet Trill, you're next. Low oxygen environment. The day continued with each cadet facing their evolutionary opposite. Trill struggled in the low oxygen chamber, but completed her objective. Zen faced a corrosive gas environment that tested his suit's integrity. The Peridian twins entered a psionic dampening field that left them nearly incapacitated but stubbornly pushed through. Vix navigated a zero-gravity maze that challenged his hunter's instincts. Drav withstood extreme temperatures that would have shattered lesser, silicon-based life forms. By day's end, every cadet was exhausted, but they had all completed their challenges, some more successfully than others. Acceptable performance, Meccan announced. Each of you demonstrated both strengths and critical weaknesses. Identify them. Improve upon them. Tomorrow, we begin squad cohesion exercises. As they filed out, Vix fell in beside Reyes. Your heart rate was elevated throughout the underwater course, he said without preamble. Centauri hear heartbeats. Yet you maintained efficiency. Humans evolved to push through pain, Reyes explained. Persistence hunting, we'd chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion, even if we were suffering too. Vic's tail twitched with interest. A different kind of predator than... We weren't always predators, Reyes said. Sometimes we were prey. We had to be both. For the first time, Vix seemed to reassess her. Perhaps there is something to learn from Deathworlders after all. Days turned into weeks. Echo Squad progressed through increasingly difficult training scenarios. Shuttle piloting, emergency response, diplomatic protocols, weapons qualification, and survival tactics. True to Meccan's promise, they ate together, trained together, and gradually began to function as a unit. It wasn't always smooth. During a simulated first contact scenario, Reyes nearly caused a diplomatic incident by displaying her teeth in what humans considered a friendly smile, but the simulated alien species interpreted as a death threat. During weapons training, she accidentally shattered a practice target designed to withstand standard cadet strength. In a low-gravity exercise, her Earth-honed reflexes overcompensated, sending her spinning into Zen and damaging his environmental suit, requiring an emergency repair that left the corn shaken. But there were triumphs too. In endurance training, Reyes helped Trill complete a grueling march when the Floraxian's energy reserves depleted. During a toxic atmosphere drill, She noticed Kai and Lam struggling with their breathing apparatus and quickly adjusted them, potentially saving the twins from respiratory damage. And when Drav suffered a stress fracture during impact training, Reyes improvised a support brace using techniques Earth rock climbers had perfected centuries ago. One evening, 6 weeks into training, Echo Squad gathered in their common area, reviewing the next day's assignments. Trill's skin glowed a soft amber in the dim light, providing a comfortable ambience. "I still don't understand how you did it," Zen said, helmet off now that he was in his personal methane environment. Without the filter, his voice was surprisingly melodic, his face unexpectedly youthful with 4 dark eyes set in pale blue skin. "The vacuum exposure exercise. You had no protective gear, just the emergency force field, yet you completed the objective." Reyes shrugged. "Humans can survive in vacuum for short periods. It's extremely unpleasant, but not immediately fatal." "Unpleasant," Vix repeated with a shake of his maned head. "You call explosive decompression unpleasant, Doth? Well, the human body doesn't actually explode," Reyes explained. "That's a myth. You'd get severe barotrauma, and the lack of pressure would cause the water in your tissues to vaporize. But—" "Stop," Trill interrupted, skin briefly flashing a nauseated green. "Just stop." "Sorry," Reyes said. "Sometimes I forget that what's normal biology to me is horror to others." Drav made a crystalline sound that approximated laughter. "Your casual relationship with mortality is refreshing, Reyes. Chronites can survive vacuum indefinitely, but we lack your adaptability." The conversation shifted to the next day's assignment, a wilderness survival exercise on XB7, one of Harmonio 4's smaller moons. According to the briefing, XB7 was a Class 3 environment, challenging but not lethal, with a fully mapped ecosystem and no large predators. "The objective is simple," Kai began. "Trek 50 kilometers to the extraction point," Lam continued. Within 72 hours, they finished together. "While dealing with whatever natural challenges the Academy throws at us," Vix added, examining the topographical maps on their shared display. "These circular clearings are unusual." Reyes studied the map more closely. The clearings were indeed perfectly circular, ranging from 20 to 50 meters in diameter, scattered throughout the forested regions. "They're too regular to be natural." "Perhaps artificial training grounds," suggested Zen. "Or signs of previous cadet encampments," Trill offered, but something about the pattern nagged at Reyes. On Earth, perfectly circular clearings often indicated territorial markers, places where apex predators established boundaries or nesting sites. "It's only a Class 3 environment," Drav said, noticing Reyes' expression. "The Academy wouldn't send cadets in a truly dangerous territory." "Of course," Reyes agreed, but couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. "Let's review our equipment lists again." The Academy shuttle deposited Echo Squad on a flat plain of purple-hued vegetation. XB7's atmosphere was breathable for most Federation species, though Zen remained in his environmental suit. Twin suns cast everything in a surreal violet light, and the horizon curved visibly on the small moon. "Extraction point is 49.8 kilometers in that direction," Vic said, pointing toward a distant mountain range. "We should reach the forest by nightfall." As Echo Squad set off across the plain, Reyes found herself automatically scanning their surroundings, identifying potential threats, escape routes, and resources, habits ingrained through human evolution. "You seem tense," Trill observed, falling in a step beside her, skin shifting in curious patterns of lavender and blue. "Just being cautious," Reyes replied. "Old habits." "From the Deathworld?" Trill's tone was curious, not accusatory. "What was it like growing up on Earth?" Reyes considered the question. "Beautiful and dangerous. We have deserts that can kill you through dehydration in hours, oceans that can drown you in minutes, mountains where the air is too thin to breathe, and forests filled with poisonous plants and venomous creatures. But also, extraordinary sunsets, crystal clear lakes, fields of wildflowers that stretch to the horizon. It sounds terrifying and wonderful," Trill said, skin pulsing with wonder. On Florax, there are no natural disasters, no dangerous predators. The worst injury most Floraxians ever experience is a mild allergic reaction to an unfamiliar plant. Different evolutionary pressures, Reyes said with a smile. But we both ended up here, didn't we? By late afternoon, they reached the edge of the forest, a dense growth of tall, purple-trunked trees with canopies that filtered the sunlight into dappled patches. The air grew notably cooler and carried a sweet, almost fermented scent. We should establish camp while there's still light, Draft suggested. The temperature differential between day and night on XB7 is significant. As the squad set up their temporary shelters, Reyes explored the perimeter. 20 meters into the forest, she found one of the circular clearings they had observed on the map. Up close, it was even more unnatural, a perfect circle where nothing grew, not even the moss-like ground cover that carpeted the rest of the forest floor. She knelt to examine the edge of the clearing. The vegetation wasn't just absent. It appeared to have been methodically removed, the soil compacted by something heavy. Found something interesting? Vix had approached silently, his Centauri hunting instincts making him nearly impossible to detect. Reyes gestured to the clearing. This isn't natural, and it's not human-made either. Something made this. Vix examined the clearing, nostrils flaring. There's an unusual scent here. Mosqui territorial. His tail twitched nervously. But XB7 is classified as having no large predators. Classifications can be wrong, Reyes said quietly. Or outdated. They returned to camp as night fell, bringing a darkness so complete that Trill's bioluminescence and Drav's crystalline glow became their primary light sources. The squad gathered around a small heating unit that substituted for a campfire. We should take watches tonight, Reyes suggested. 2 cadets per shift. Is that necessary? Zen asked. The environment is rated as safe. There's no harm and caution. Drav supported, resonating softly. I require minimal rest. I'll take the first watch with Reyes. As the others retired to their shelters, Reyes and Drav positioned themselves at opposite sides of the camp. The night was alive with sounds, rustling vegetation, distant calls of nocturnal creatures, the gentle hum of native insects. Halfway through their watch, Reyes noticed something odd. The forest had gone completely silent. On Earth, such sudden silence meant only one thing. A predator was near. Drav, she called softly. Do you hear that? I hear nothing, Drav replied. Exactly. Reyes activated her low-light vision enhancement, scanning the darkness beyond their perimeter. At first, she saw nothing. Then, between 2 distant trees, she caught a glimmer, 2 reflective points like eyes catching the light. They blinked once, then vanished. We're being watched, she whispered, adrenaline surging through her system. Her Deathworld instincts, honed through millions of years of human evolution, snapped to full alert. Drav moved silently to her side. I detect nothing. Trust me, Reyes insisted. Wake the others. Quietly. Within minutes, Echo Squad was alert, weapons ready. They formed a defensive circle, backs to one another, scanning the darkness. This is excessive, Zen protested, though he kept his voice low. There are no documented predators on XB7. Then why did the Academy insist we carry weapons rated for Class 5 environments? Vix countered, his hunter's instincts clearly agreeing with Reyes. Before anyone could respond, a low growl emanated from the forest. Not one, but several, a chorus of guttural sounds that seemed to surround them. Those are pack hunters, Reyes said, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. They're coordinating, trying to drive us into confusion. The Peridian twins' faces showed identical expressions of shock. The Academy wouldn't, Kai began. Put us in genuine danger, Lam finished. Unless this is a test, Vic suggested, his body tense, ready to spring. A true evaluation of our response to threat. The growls grew closer. In the combined light of Trill's increasingly agitated bioluminescence and Drav's glow, Reyes caught glimpses of movement. Large, low shapes circling the camp, their eyes reflecting green in the darkness. "What do we do?" Trill asked, her skin flashing alarmed patterns of red and yellow. All eyes turned to Reyes. In that moment, she realized that for all their initial suspicion of a Deathworlder, her squad mates were now looking to her for survival expertise. "We need to appear as a unified front," she instructed. "These are pack hunters. They're testing us, looking for weakness. Stand your ground. Make loud noises, appear bigger than you are." The squad followed her instructions, creating a wall of sound and motion. But the creatures, whatever they were, continued to circle, undeterred. "It's not working," Zen said, his suit's external sensors clearly picking up the creature's movements. Reyes made a split-second decision. "New plan. I'm going to draw them off. The rest of you head for the extraction point. Move fast, stay together." "Absolutely not," Drav countered. "We don't separate." "I agree," Vic said. "Splitting the pack is exactly what they want." The creatures moved closer, their forms now partially visible, sleek, muscular quadrupeds with elongated snouts and what appear to be bony plates along their spines. Their movements were coordinated, intelligent. "Kisrith pack hunters," Zen suddenly announced, his suit's database apparently identifying the species. "But they're not native to XB7. They must have been introduced." Deliberately, Trill's skin had paled to a terrified white. "Classifications can change," Reyes repeated her earlier observation, but with new understanding. "This isn't a Class 3 environment. It's a Class 5, maybe higher. The Academy is testing us," Vix agreed, a hint of grudging respect in his voice. "Testing you, specifically Deathworlder." Reyes assessed their situation. The pack, she counted at least 8 Kisrith, had them surrounded. They were methodically tightening the circle, herding Echo Squad exactly as predators would. Earth predators. And suddenly, Reyes understood. This wasn't just a test of Echo Squad survival skills. It was a test of what a human would do when faced with humanity's oldest competition, apex predators. "Everyone, hold position," she commanded, stepping slightly forward. "I'm going to try something." Before anyone could protest, Reyes did the last thing any prey species would do. She advanced toward the largest Kisrith, presumably the pack leader, her posture aggressive, confident. She spread her arms wide, making herself appear larger, and let out a deep, guttural roar that startled even her squad mates. The Kisrith froze, clearly confused by this unexpected behavior. In the evolutionary rulebook, prey fled, they didn't. Challenge. But humans had torn up that rulebook millennia ago. Reyes took another step forward, still roaring, her body language screaming dominance and threat. The Kisrith pack leader hesitated, then, remarkably, took a step back. "It's working," Vix breathed, his hunters understanding, immediately grasping what Reyes was doing. "She's speaking their language. Predator to predator." Reyes maintained her aggressive stance, never breaking eye contact with the pack leader. The standoff stretched for what felt like hours, but was likely only minutes. Finally, the Kisrith leader made a sound, a low, almost respectful growl, and began backing away. One by one, the pack followed, retreating into the darkness of the forest. The silence that followed was profound. "Holy hell," Trill finally whispered, her skin cycling through a rainbow of astonished colors. "You scare them off." Reyes gradually relaxed her posture, though her senses remained on high alert. "They're not gone for good. We need to move now while they're reassessing." "You challenged an apex predator," Zen said, his voice carrying unmistakable awe even through his suit's filter. "And it backed down. That's what humans do," Reyes said simply. "On Earth, we weren't always at the top of the food chain. We learned to become the thing that monsters fear." Echo Squad gathered their essential equipment, formed a tight formation with Reyes at point, and began moving swiftly through the forest toward the extraction point. They traveled through the night, pushing their endurance to the limit. Occasionally, they heard distant howls or caught glimpses of reflective eyes, but the Kisrith kept their distance. By dawn, they had covered nearly 20 kilometers, making excellent time despite the challenging terrain. As they paused to rest and rehydrate, Vix approached Reyes. Understand now, he said quietly. Understand what? Why humans are classified as you are. You're not just physically resilient. You think like predators even when you're prey. It's unsettling, but remarkable. It's just survival, Reyes said. Humans adapted to be whatever we needed to be. Prey, predator, scavenger, cooperator. We're versatile. Versatile, Drav echoed, joining them. Yes, that is the word. Not merely strong or enduring, but adaptable in mind as well as body. The Peridian twins approached next. We were wrong about you, Kai admitted. Your mind isn't empty, Lam added. It's simply, they paused, searching for the right word. Self-contained, they finally said in unison. Complete. Trill, her skin now a calm blue with ripples of admiring gold, placed a gentle hand on Rhea's shoulder. Thank you for protecting us. Even Zen, still safely enclosed in his environmental suit, offered acknowledgement. Your actions were optimal. I miscalculated the value of Deathworld instincts. For the first time since arriving at the academy, Reyes felt truly seen, not as a dangerous anomaly, but as a valuable teammate with unique perspectives and abilities. We should continue moving, she suggested, suddenly uncomfortable with the attention. The extraction point is still a long way off, and the Kisrith will regroup eventually. Echo Squad continued their journey through XB7's alien landscape, no longer a collection of disparate individuals, but a cohesive unit. They faced additional challenges, treacherous terrain, a sudden storm that forced them to seek shelter, even another brief encounter with a smaller group of Kisrith that quickly retreated when Echo Squad presented a unified front. They reached the extraction point 12 hours ahead of schedule, tired but uninjured and successful. Lieutenant Meccan was waiting for them, his compound eyes betraying no surprise at their early arrival. Echo Squad reporting mission complete, sir, Vix announced formally. So I see, Meccan replied, and notably intact. Interesting. As they boarded the extraction shuttle, Reyes felt Meccan's gaze lingering on her. She returned it steadily, a silent question in her eyes. The Kisrith pack hunters are not native to XB7. Meccan confirmed once they were airborne. Testing Echo Squad, Meccan clarified. But yes, with parameters designed to evaluate how a human would respond to an evolutionary familiar threat, and how the rest of you would adapt to that response. And did we pass? Drav asked directly. Meccan's mandibles clicked in what Reyes had come to recognize as satisfaction. Echo Squad has set a new Academy record for the XB7 Wilderness exercise. I would classify that as exceeding expectations. In the weeks that followed, a subtle but significant shift occurred within the Academy. Where once Reyes had felt constant scrutiny and wariness, she now encountered curiosity and even respect. Other cadets began approaching her with questions about Earth and human adaptations. Instructors included Deathworld perspectives in their tactical discussions. And within Echo Squad, the transformation was complete. They had become one of the Academy's top-performing units, combining the unique abilities of each species into a formidable whole. They still teased Reyes about her terrifying human traits, her enjoyment of spicy food, her ability to function on minimal sleep, her casual relationship with pain and danger. But the teasing was now affectionate rather than fearful. 3 months after the XB7 exercise, Echo Squad gathered in the Academy's central dining hall, celebrating their successful completion of advanced tactical training. The hall buzzed with activity, cadets from dozens of worlds sharing meals and conversation. I still can't believe you challenged a Kisrith Alpha, a Jovian cadet said to Reyes from a neighboring table. The holovids from your suit cameras have become legendary. Just instinct, Reyes deflected modestly. Any human would have done the same. That's what makes it impressive, the Jovian insisted. Your instincts. As conversation flowed around her, Reyes caught sight of Lieutenant Meccan entering the hall. He surveyed the room with his usual detachment, but when his gaze fell on Echo Squad, on Reyes, he offered a formal nod of acknowledgement. The lieutenant has recommended all of us for advanced placement, Vix mentioned casually, including specialized cross-training in Deathworld tactics. Deathworld tactics? Reyes echoed, in surprise. Apparently, the Federation has begun to recognize the strategic value of perspectives from worlds like Earth, Drav explained. Your approach to the Kisrith has prompted a re-evaluation of certain training protocols. It makes sense, Trill added, her skin pulsing thoughtful purple. The galaxy is vast and unpredictable. Sometimes the peaceful approach isn't possible. Sometimes, Reyes agreed. You need someone who can stare down the monster. As Echo Squad continued their meal, Reyes reflected on her journey. She had arrived at the Academy carrying the weight of Earth's reputation, a Deathworlder among Paradise species, feared and misunderstood. Now she sat among friends who valued her not despite her origins, but because of them. There would be more challenges ahead, more monsters to face, both literal and metaphorical. The galaxy was filled with environments that would test even a Deathworlder's adaptability. But she wouldn't face them alone. And perhaps, in time, the United Galactic Federation would come to understand what humans had learned through millennia of struggle on their harsh, beautiful homeworld. That strength could be graceful, that endurance could be thoughtful, that the will to survive could coexist with the desire to create and connect. She was just a cadet from a death world, but that was exactly what the stars needed.